Hello, how's everybody doing today? My name is David Lillian. Welcome back to yet another tutorial here for some editing. I run the account World Football Artwork on Instagram. Link will be in the description below. Also, contact me, guys. It's a new thing. Contact me if you guys want a wallpaper, something that looks like this one. I just made a new one myself. I got a few more coming up. There will be giveaways on my page, so contact me if you want to buy a wallpaper, or we can work something out with shoutouts on Instagram. But definitely check out my work on Instagram. Link will be in the description below. So here's another editing style I want to teach you guys. It's a thing that I sort of got off of an account that I mentioned earlier in my previous video, Footballistics. It's a great account on Instagram. I'll link them in the description below. They are my inspiration for all this stuff. So I thank whoever runs that account. All right. So let's start here by opening up Photoshop CC 2014, and we're going to go into the Finder and grab our picture. So we're going to post this on Instagram, so crop into a square, ratio is 1:1, and we're going to put our player, well, let's go all the way to the end here. That looks nice. All right, hit enter. And first we got to put a skin on this player. So as you can see, it's not the highest quality picture ever, but it'll definitely work for this edit. So we're going to go into Topaz Labs. If you guys don't know how to get Topaz Labs, as I've mentioned in my previous video, you can DM me on Instagram. I will help you along with that. Head to HDR Collection and Dynamic Pop. And you don't need to change anything over here. Just hit apply. Now adjust for preset list and go on to psychedelic. It's a very powerful and heavy effect, so we got to go down to finishing touches, transparency, and let's see. I think the transparency will look good around 70. That looks pretty nice. So hit OK because we are now done in Topaz Adjust. We're going to move on now to Topaz Labs and Denoise. Now here we are going to want to take a lot of the fuzziness out of the picture, a lot of the choppiness. So let's do JPEG strong, and let's put see how 1 looks. Oh, that's a bit too heavy of a denoise here. Tone that down a little bit to 70. That looks nice. So hit alright. Just give it gotta give it a minute to load up. Doing this video for you guys at 1 a.m. Dedication to my followers. Love you guys. Alright, so now we're going to head into Topaz Clean. This is a bit of a different effect. I really like using this though. I like to go heavy on the clean sometimes. And we're going to set it to curly smooth and turn the threshold all the way down to 0, and the strength, we'll turn that to 2. The sharpness, we're going to want it 0. The radius, let's set that 2.03. Let's go with that. The boost, head down to 0. And let's see if we bump up the strength a little bit. Nah, I don't really like that. Let's see the radius, we bump that up. No, I don't like that either. So we can set the radius back to where it was. So this isn't my favorite look, but I'll stick with it. So strength 2, threshold 0, radius, first radius, don't touch that. Accent 3, second radius 2.03, sharpness 0, texture 0, boost 0.25 or as low as it can go, and you don't need to touch the size, that is set at 2.0. So go on and hit OK. And a few more steps left to this skin. I like the way it looks. See detail. Head into Topaz Detail. This will bring out some more, sort of bring out like the folds of their jersey. I guess I've experienced with editing athletes, so I see that what it does. So we're going to go overall detail light 1 and hit OK. So pretty quick there. And I think we're almost done with this skin. Let's see if we do adjust one more time and go back to psychedelic, which we are already on. So it goes back to the setting that you were already on and gives you these things what you were already on. So it's a bit heavy for me. Transparency 85 on psychedelic. Hit OK. And that looks good to me. You guys can do whatever skin you want. Of course, as I always mention, it's all about your creativity. Alright, so now to start with the legitimate editing part. What we're going to do is we are going to create a duplicate layer. by hitting Command J. And coming down here, and oh, sorry, not about that. Go to the quick selection tool and make sure you're on the plus. You can set the pixel size to whatever you like. I'm going to go here 169 and just click around. We're going to want the ball in this too, but we can actually mask out the whole ball at first because I'm going to show you guys a trick to get that in later. And we're going to go all around the player as much as we can. It's okay if you mess up. Nothing's set in stone right here. You can always go back and fix it. You never want to, you'd rather leave, if there's a place that you can't get, you'd rather leave it out than take it out because you can't really go back. Once you've cut it out, you can't always go back. So I definitely recommend if there's a spot that you can't get, just leave it and then get it later with the eraser tool. I will deliberately show you guys something like that. So for example here, if for whatever reason I just couldn't get this part here, it wouldn't allow me, I'll show you guys after. Alright, so there's a perfect example. I'll just leave that whole chunk out. That's fine. Let's see, going around one more time. I am picky with this, so I'll try to make this video as quickly as I can and as informative as I can. I know my last video, you know, it was 27 minutes long, a lot longer than I intended, and so sorry if that was a bit complicated. This one is also going to be a bit complicated, but it's not as complicated as it may seem. It may seem. I think these designs that I'm going to show you guys today, this sort of shatter effect, you guys will see what I'm talking about. It looks very professional, and that's what I really love about it. I use it now when I'm making wallpapers. I just made a really nice looking Arsenal wallpaper today that used this effect. I made a Ciro Mobile wallpaper yesterday that used that effect on a logo. You can use this effect on anything. It really looks great. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram about any of this stuff. I would be happy to help you guys. I try to you know, I'm not going to give away all my secrets because otherwise you're just copying off me. But I use these videos to help you guys, and I encourage you to find your own style and find your own technique. So a good trick to getting a ball in is you don't have to go all the way around the ball first. Try to find a pixel size here that matches up good with the ball. So 320, that's a little much. Let's go 250. And that looks pretty good. And just do one click is usually all it takes, and then it'll go pretty much all the way around it. This one was a terrible example of that. So now we can just actually do some work and get that whole ball in. And there we go. So pretty good to me. Just do one final check of this selection. I know we're going to leave that part out. Ooh, forgot his shoulder there. So we're going to fix that up. That looks pretty nice. All right, now to cut, we're going to go ahead and press Command X. And to check to see what you got, you can take off the visibility of the background. And it looks like we got everything, of course, except for that. So a way, if you just couldn't get into that area or a certain area, you would head over to the eraser tool and just make the pixel size on just the normal brush, whatever you want, the first brush that comes up. And you can just erase that. So it gives you a lot more control over what you're cutting out. And you can always go back and just undo if you don't like it. So I think now we've gotten everything that we want. Gotten the player and the ball. And what we're going to do right now is we're just going to make, this is just a backup layer in case something goes wrong. Press Command J on the layer that you're on. So now we have two duplicate layers, but we can just take off the visibility, one of them. That doesn't really matter. And the background, go to Image Adjustments, Hue/Saturation, and let's take the saturation down. We're looking at the field color here. That looks pretty good. I'm at -65 right now. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to fill up this background with a whole bunch of smoke. So much smoke that you really can't see anything. Now, we're going to fill the field, but we're going to leave the field in at the end. And how we're going to do that is we're just going to erase some of the smoke at the end to show what we want of the field. So the link to these brushes will be in the description. They're in the description of my last video. Sorry if I couldn't get the link to some of you guys on Instagram. It was really an idiot move of me not to put it in the description. I should have done that, and I apologize to anybody. So the plan is for this is we're going to have a light coming in from the corner, so the darkest smoke is going to be all down here. I know I've showed you guys a smoke design before, but that was with leaving some of the background in, you could sort of see through the smoke. This the smoke is going to be very opaque. The parts that there are smoke at, you're really not going to be able to see through. And I just clicked the calendar. Oh no, don't want that. So back to our smoke filling. Just going to keep, you know what? I'm just going to stretch up Photoshop, and what's the way to get this whole thing on screen? Yeah, full screen mode. Oh, never done this before. Oh, no. Hit escape. Window. No. I'm sorry, I've never done this before. Full screen mode with menu bar. That's what we like. Alright, and view 100%. So we can, oh, no. Fit on screen. That's what we wanted. Yes, fit on screen. So now the whole view is taken up by Photoshop. So the smoke, we're going to lighten a little bit, and we just want a little bit of red because his jersey's red, so we want to be on red and then just shift it a little bit over. So it's not completely out of saturation, we just have a hint of red in this, as you can see, as it's coming up. And you can hold and drag, but I prefer to do individual clicks. It does take some time, and you just mix in the darks and the lights. It will look fine in the end, don't worry. Don't worry if your smoke is not opaque enough, which means you can't see through it. Just fill in some more. Dark colors help with that. Dragging helps with that. And then, as I mentioned, over here we're going to have a light source. So you'd still want some lighter colors in there. We will add a light source, but you still like to have some lighter colors in the corner. So mix in some darks on this side as well. And we're really trying to get nothing visible from the background. And we're going to get some more darks down here, go all the way to almost black. Black, as you can see, is in the corner of this color selector, so we're at black with just the slightest bit of red. And that looks pretty good to me. I think I've actually missed a spot here. Look at that. So if we delete all the layers, this is a perfect example. You couldn't see it because it was white. But let's go, oh, the layer is hidden. Let's go here and just, we can pick a hard brush and that should fix everything in there. Sorry about that, to waste a bit of your time. But I think we're alright now. Maybe that, and get rid of that. And there's still a bit hanging on. What do you know? Sorry for my poor editing. I'm trying to go as quickly as I can for you guys. And once again, this is a great thing. Show that everybody makes mistakes. And you can just go in and fix it with the eraser. But if there's a bit of hard edges here, as you can see, they're kind of choppy, you can go in and just erase it. I would usually do that, but I didn't do that here. But now it's really bothering me. Because I am a perfectionist. I try to be as perfect as I can with a lot of this stuff. Alright, so we'll go in, add maybe one more puff of smoke there. Alright, now we're good in the background. So what we're going to do, select back to the background layer and go to the eraser tool. And go up to the regular soft brush and increase the pixel size to something that would reach about where his shoe is, where his front shoe is. Because we want to have pretty much all the grass in front of his shoe, and then that's it. So if we zoom out a bit, just erase the smoke to where that shoe is, all the way across. So now you sort of get that effect that he's on a field with smoke in the background, but you can't really see anything. Now this smoke here looks a bit unrealistic, so we're just going to add a puff of black in there. Alright, now where might be the light source, you say? Well, it's coming right up. We're just going to add an empty layer on top of the smoke. Go up to our brushes, and I can tell you the link to this will be part of the link in the description. And head over here and increase the size of this brush. This is like a stream of light. Go over here so you can see which angle. We're going to want this coming down straight from the corner, so that looks pretty good. And definitely want to increase the size of that to, let's see, 3560. That looks like it'll be good. Switch over the color to white, and bam. Maybe fix that a few times until you get what you like. I'm going to increase this a little bit more. I don't want it so powerful, so let's make it 4000. What we're going to do is just go far back and just hit it from there. That looks nice. Maybe a little bit farther back. There we go. Alright, I don't know if that made a difference or not, but we'll see. And, oh, sorry about this, we're going to actually put this light above the player. Now this is bothering me about the player. We have a bit of just lines going around him. So as I said before, this is what you can do. You take the eraser tool, make sure you're selected on the player, and just go around him. You know, I'm sure it's not really a problem if you leave it in, but I like to make my work. I make the work, and, you know, I love feedback from you guys. And, you know, definitely feel free to point out my mistakes, because it'll make me better at this in the future. And it'll make me a better helper for you guys. So if you see a mistake in one of my edits, be like, hey, why'd you make a mistake? Thought you were good at this. But feel free to do that. It's totally fine with me. You have my permission. So now what we're going to do is we have our light source. We're actually going to take a little bit of the saturation out of the player. So image adjustment, saturation. Let's tone it down to about there. All right, that looks nice. So we have this part pretty much done. Now the challenge, the eraser and the shatter effect. So head down here to these brushes. I don't have the link to these, I'm very sorry. Where are my glass shatter brushes? Not here. No, I had a lot of trouble finding the brush in the last video. Here we go. Alright, so just pick this one and make sure you're on the eraser tool. And just erase sort of the back edge of this player with this shattered glass. Maybe switch up the brush. Try not to get any of his face, but we want the back area of the player to be just erased by this glass. Really high quality image, so you can zoom in. If this were a wallpaper, I think it'd look awesome. And now create an empty layer on top of that. Go to the brush tool and use pretty much the same brush, same style of brushes. And we can use a white. I think that's a bit too heavy, so we can use sort of a whitish, reddish color, a pinkish, you'd call it. Still really not to my liking. We can use a white and a pink. How about that? Or a white and a red. So let's start with a white. Maybe not such heavy because it is in smoke, so we can go with a gray. And that looks nice. Flip the brush, make it vertical, or at least more vertical. You can do whatever you like. And make sure this is above the player. I think it looks best when it's above the player and sort of giving the sensation that it's coming off of the player. I think that's when it looks best. Just undo that because I didn't really like the way that that looked. And now we can select some of the red brush and make it red, or make it the color of this. We can use your color selector and switch up the brush, maybe hit it with one of these to give sort of the effect that his jersey is flying off, running so fast. That looks pretty nice. Maybe take off a little bit more of the player just to give even more of an enhancement on this effect. I really like the way this looks. I think these designs do really look professional. Now you want to leave a little bit of him in, but as you can zoom in, that really does look nice. I'm feeling this. I really like the way this is turning out. And yeah, I really did not expect it to go this well. So I'm pretty sure that we have just one more step in this before we wrap this video up. Maybe add just a few more bits of white. Oh, not exactly white. We're going to want a bit of off-white. Maybe just a bit smaller. Size this brush down about half that size. Just get it right on the inner edge. That looks pretty nice. I'm liking it. I'm feeling this. It's whatever you like, though. It's not up to me. It's up to you. You're the designer. You're the editor. So I think we're satisfied with this. We're just going to keep this extra layer just in case we feel like we need to redo this. Now, final step, create a layer over the background under the smoke. Select a debris brush, as I like to call them, from right up here. I can link you guys to these. These I used in my smoke design video of Cristiano Ronaldo. And we can just select one of these. I like the ones with bigger fragments. They appear more. And we're going to make these black. And you got to click heavy because it's a thick layer of smoke that it's coming under. Gotta make sure you're really clicking. I'm clicking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Clicking about 9 to 10 times on each one of these. So you can sort of see them popping up. If you want, get a little bit different here. Switch up the brush. I like this one. This one's my favorite, I think. And there we go. We got some of it popping up, but we don't want it on the field. So we can just go back to our original brush and sweep the field. Just like that. Now, I think that's looking pretty nice. I like it. Final step. Come up top. Make sure it's on black. Fill the whole thing with black. I like to do this on most of my edits. This time we're not going to go from the middle as I've done in past edits. We're going to go from the corner because that's where the light source is coming from. And it really feels nice to get this effect coming in. And I'm liking that. Alright. Final step. To add the watermark. Put the layer above. Or we don't even need that because if you hit the text layer and create a text box, it'll create a layer right there automatically. So we're going to write WFA for World Football Artwork. And whoop. Small text box hurts my eyes. I'm trying to change the color to white. There we go. Color white. And let's use just a simple font here. Let's use that. And throw that down in the corner there. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope this helped. Remember, check out my Instagram for more of my work. If you guys want a wallpaper, DM me, email me, do whatever it takes. I'm definitely looking. If anybody here knows a website that needs some graphic design work, with sports or not, I am up for it. Let me know on Instagram. Let me know what you think of this. If this video helped in any way, shape, or form, comment, rate, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.